From a simple storybook yellow bear with a tiny red shirt and a honey-first mindset, Pooh slowly shifts through TV-style misadventures, educational shorts, CGI sleuthing, a worn, realistic plush look, and finally shocking horror reinventions. Pooh makes his debut appearance in the 1966 animated short Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree. In this first Disney-era portrayal, Pooh is presented as an anthropomorphic teddy bear, and the central figure of the franchise depicted as Christopher Robin's stuffed toy and loyal friend. He's instantly recognizable. Yellow fur, that short red shirt with his belly hanging out, and little stitched details that sometimes pop open after he overeats, though he can't feel pain because he's stuffed with fluff. Personality-wise, he's kind, friendly, and adorably innocent, but also famously naive, earning the reputation of a bear of very little brains. The story is driven by one craving, honey, as Pooh attempts multiple plans to get it and fails repeatedly. When Rabbit finally provides honey, Pooh overeats so much that he gets wedged in Rabbit's front door. The solution isn't a battle or a trick, it's simply waiting and losing weight until he can finally squeeze out. Next, Pooh appears in the 1968 animated short Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day. This time, Pooh remains the main protagonist with the same gentle, childlike attitude, but the adventure becomes bigger and more chaotic thanks to extreme weather. After learning from Gopher that it's Wednesday, Pooh sets out to wish everyone a happy Wednesday, treating the day like it deserves a grand celebration. That innocent mission immediately collides with strong winds and a growing sense that the 100-acre wood is spinning out of control. In the middle of the storm, Pooh ends up rescuing Piglet with Piglet's unraveled scarf when the wind blows Piglet away. The wind also turns Pooh into a walking accident machine. He plows through Rabbit's garden and inadvertently harvests Rabbit's carrots in the process. When the flood arrives, Pooh's floating path leads to him inadvertently saving Piglet again, and both end up at Christopher Robin's home. After the flood ends, Pooh is honored with a party for what he did. Pooh makes his next appearance in the 1974 animated short Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2. The tone stays playful, but the conflict shifts more toward group frustration, especially Rabbit's irritation with Tigger's constant bouncing and the damage it causes. Pooh gets roped into Rabbit's plan to lose Tigger in the mist as a form of punishment for bouncing too much and ruining Rabbit's garden. But the plan backfires in the most fitting way. Pooh, Rabbit, and Piglet get lost instead, showing that schemes aren't exactly their strong suit. Rabbit eventually storms off on his own, leaving Pooh to steady Piglet and figure out how to get back home. Pooh succeeds, and his explanation is pure Pooh logic. He claims his honeypots were calling to his stomach, guiding him in the right direction. Even though it sounds silly, the moment reinforces that Pooh's instincts and persistence often save the day. The closing scene also introduces a bigger emotional change. Pooh and the others face the fact that Christopher Robin must go away to school. Next, in the 1997 animated movie The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the franchise shifts into a feature-length format built from earlier stories. This movie is described as the first full-length entry, combining 3 previously released animated shorts while adding extra material to connect everything into one continuous experience. A major structural difference here is that Pooh interacts with the narrator, who introduces the stories and links them together, so the audience feels like they're traveling through a guided collection. The added pieces aren't just filler. They reshape the pacing and give the film a clearer beginning-to-end flow. It also strengthens the theme that the 100-acre wood is tied to childhood, imagination, and a sense of safe routine. A new closing scene is included to complete that emotional arc. Christopher Robin must leave the 100-acre wood to begin school, and the world Pooh lives in suddenly feels like something that might be left behind. The narrator ends on a comforting note, emphasizing that wherever Christopher Robin goes, Pooh will always be waiting. In the 1981 short Winnie the Pooh Discovers the Seasons, Pooh's evolution takes an educational turn. This is described as the first animated educational short in the franchise, using Pooh's curiosity as the engine for teaching rather than focusing only on comic disaster. Christopher Robin presents Pooh with a calendar, and Pooh, having never seen one, treats it like a strange new invention that needs to be decoded. Christopher explains that the calendar helps track the days, weeks, months, and seasons, and the story uses that structure to guide viewers through time. As the calendar moves from season to season, Pooh and the others explore the 100-acre wood and observe changes in the world around them. Pooh's reactions stay true to his character. He learns slowly, asks simple questions, and connects ideas in a very Pooh-like way that makes the learning feel friendly and approachable. This version doesn't replace Pooh's sweetness. It repurposes it, turning his innocence into a teaching tool that makes the audience feel like they're discovering the seasons alongside him. Pooh reappears in the 1983 animated short Winnie the Pooh and A Day for Eeyore. This entry plays like a classic Pooh lesson wrapped in comedy. Kindness pushes him forward, but his stomach tries to sabotage him at every step. Pooh is the first to learn it's Eeyore's birthday, and he decides to celebrate by giving Eeyore a pot of honey, because honey is the best gift Pooh can imagine. On the walk to Eeyore's house, Pooh's rumbling tummy keeps distracting him, and he gradually eats the honey that was meant to be a present. The moment he realizes the pot is empty lands as a perfect Pooh beat, he's genuinely shocked at what he's done, even though the audience saw it coming. Instead of ending in anger or rejection, the story pivots into a gentle fix. The empty pot still becomes useful as a container for Piglet's pop balloon. The result is a warm reminder that even when Pooh messes up, the group's friendship and creativity keep the day from being ruined. Pooh appears again in the 1983 TV show Welcome to Pooh Corner. This is described as the first live-action puppet TV show in the franchise, and the change in format makes Pooh feel more physical and present, like a character performing in a real space. Pooh is portrayed by a live actor operating a puppet suit, and his voice is performed by Hal Smith, giving him a slightly different texture than the earlier animated versions. The show emphasizes musical and hosted style segments, including Pooh performing his own song and sharing a duet with Piglet, which makes the tone feel closer to a children's variety program. One detail that stands out is that this incarnation is described as unique because Pooh is portrayed as smarter than usual. That doesn't erase his sweetness, but it does shift his energy, less absent-minded wandering and more confident participation. Even with that adjustment, Pooh remains the comforting center of the 100-Acre Wood, just adapted to a new kind of television language built around performance, songs, and direct engagement. Pooh appears in the 1988 TV show The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Here, Pooh becomes a steady TV lead, dealing with a wider variety of conflicts and mini-adventures that fit episodic storytelling. He is voiced by Jim Cummings in this series, and the voice performance helps Pooh feel energetic enough for TV plots while still retaining his gentle, warm-hearted core. The show frequently places Pooh in situations where his friends' fears, misunderstandings, or rivalries create problems that need to be worked through. Many episodes end with Pooh recounting the day's events to Christopher Robin, giving the stories a reflective, bedtime story vibe that reinforces Pooh as both participant and storyteller. The series also expands Pooh's imagination play side by sometimes giving him an alter ego. The Masked Bear, an Old West-style cowboy with Eeyore as his faithful steed. That twist shows the franchise experimenting with genre parody while still keeping Pooh's identity intact. It's the same lovable bear, but placed into a faster, broader TV world that tests him in more ways. In the 2007 TV show My Friends Tigger and Pooh, Pooh's evolution jumps into fully animated CGI. The transcript describes this as the first Winnie the Pooh incarnation to be fully animated in CGI, and the visuals immediately make the 100-Acre Wood feel more modern and polished. Pooh remains one of the main characters and is again voiced by Jim Cummings, which keeps a familiar sound even as the style changes. The biggest difference is Pooh's role. He's no longer just drifting into adventures, he becomes part of a structured mystery-solving team. Pooh, Tigger, and a new human friend named Darby form the Super Sleuths, investigating problems in the 100-Acre Wood by thinking, asking questions, and following clues. Their friends can signal them when help is needed, using routines like sounding a siren and raising a flag, and the sleuths respond like a tiny detective squad. Pooh even wears a blue outfit with a question mark icon, visually reinforcing the new identity. This era turns Pooh into an active helper on missions, while still keeping his friendly nature intact. Pooh appears in the 2018 live-action movie Christopher Robin. This version presents Pooh as a more realistic toy bear than earlier interpretations, giving him the look and texture of a worn, well-loved plush rather than a bright cartoon figure. The story begins with Christopher Robin leaving for boarding school, and Pooh and the others throw him a goodbye party. Christopher comforts Pooh and promises he will never forget him. After that, Christopher grows up, marries, and has a daughter, but becomes consumed by his demanding work life, neglecting his family and planning to send his daughter away as well. When Pooh awakens and can't find his friends, he chooses to search for Christopher by traveling through Christopher's door and ending up in London. Christopher is shocked to see Pooh and brings him home, but Pooh's habits cause chaos, like knocking down kitchen shelves while looking for honey. Christopher then escorts Pooh back to Sussex, and the journey ends with a return to the Hundred Acre Wood, where Christopher finally reconnects with his family and the friends he left behind. In the 2023 movie Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Pooh is reimagined in a horror retelling that flips the character's identity into something meant to terrify. The story follows Pooh and Piglet as feral, bloodthirsty murderers who terrorize a group of young university women, and an adult Christopher Robin when he returns to the Hundred Acre Wood years later. To avoid copyright issues, this version of Pooh doesn't wear the classic red shirt and is shown as a half-human hybrid wearing grotesque animal masks. The transcript also emphasizes how physically dangerous he is, supremely strong, tough enough to survive being hit by a car at full speed, and even capable of controlling swarms of bees. Even though it's a non-Disney approach, the mask design still appears to take visual cues from the familiar Disney-inspired face shape, especially around the eyebrows and general structure. Pooh also doesn't speak during the film, which makes him feel more like a silent predator than a personality-driven character. It's the most extreme tonal endpoint in the evolution list. A once cozy childhood figure turned into a brutal monster. Pooh appears again in the 2024 movie Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. The sequel continues the horror reimagining, described as part of the Twisted Childhood universe, and it keeps Pooh as the title character and most prominent villain. The plot follows Pooh and his team as they go on a murderous rampage tied directly to Christopher Robin's childhood, seeking revenge after their existence is revealed to the world. This version of Pooh is depicted as a feral, bloodthirsty, bear-like humanoid who was abandoned by Christopher Robin, and the story adds additional lore about who he is. The transcript also includes a major new reveal. Pooh and his friends were once human children involved in experimentation that turned them into human-animal hybrids. Unlike the first film, the characters are now talking, but they use new accents to avoid legal trouble with Disney. This makes the sequel feel more expansive and myth-heavy, shifting from a simple horror premise into a broader revenge narrative with an invented backstory.